Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to teach you all about the mobile app. I'm going to show you how to add a customer, how to create a job, how to service that job, and then last but not least we'll discuss sending an invoice and taking a payment. As we look at the mobile app, I'll use my mouse cursor to show you where I'm clicking throughout the video. So to add a new customer, you can click on the plus sign in the upper right corner and choose New Customer. This is where you'll enter in your customer's contact information as well as their billing and service address. So we'll go ahead and create one together. Whoops. Enter in their email. Phone number. Source, so how did they hear about you? And then we can add a tag. And a tag is just a way for the admin on the desktop to filter through your customer list. So for example, if we add a residential tag from the desktop version, they'll be able to filter through the entire customer list and pull up any residential customer. This is completely optional, but just another way to level up your customer organization. And then below, you can also enter in the service address and then the billing address. And in this case, we'll just say that the billing address is going to be the same as the service. Below, you can add location notes. So these are any notes for that specific location, maybe a gate code or the code to a padlock, whatever you like. And then you can also add location tags, which are going to be tags to that specific location rather than to the customer, like we have up here. And then you can also add a top note, which is a note that will appear on the top of all of that customer's jobs, which we'll discuss a little bit more. So for now, we're going to click Save. And now that will open up the customer's account. Here, you can add additional contacts. So if there's going to be another point of contact, maybe a spouse, a family member, if it's like a real estate company, you may want a realtor to be on here. You can just click on the plus sign and then add a new contact. You can also add additional service locations by clicking right here and then clicking on the plus sign. New location. You can also edit the current service location by clicking on the three dots and then clicking Edit Location. You can also delete the location from here as well. Now let's jump back to our calendar. So if we click on this icon, that will take us back to our calendar view. To create a job, you can simply click on the plus sign in the upper right corner and choose New Job. Or you can click wherever you would like on the calendar. In this case, we'll schedule it for 2, so we're going to click here. Oops. And we're going to click on New Job. We'll need to choose our customer, so in this case, we'll actually create a job for John Smith. We'll choose his service address, so we'll say it's for his home address. And then we choose our service template. We'll choose bi-monthly, and everything that we'd predefined in our settings under our service templates will automatically generate. So now this job knows that it should repeat every 2 months on the first Wednesday. And that's because it's a bi-monthly service, and the first job is on the first Wednesday of the month. So it'll just automatically keep repeating. We can go ahead and click on Save. So now we have a job that we've actually put on our calendar, just with a couple clicks. And if you tap on that tile, that will open up the job. Anytime you see 3 dots on the mobile app, that will also mean anytime you see 3 dots on the mobile app, that will also mean there's a menu. For example, if we click on the 3 dots to the right of the customer's name, we'll see a few options. The first set of options here will be pertaining to the work order, which we'll discuss in just a bit. And then below, you have the option to open the customer's account, view all contacts, edit the customer, and edit the job. If you wanted to change the scheduling of the job, you would click here on Edit Job, and then you can make any scheduling adjustments. So if we wanted to move it from Wednesday the 5th to Thursday the 6th, we're just going to click. And since it's a job that has recurring jobs attached, you'll have the option to move this job only or this job and all recurring. So in this case, we'll move this and all recurring. So all of John's bi-monthly services will readjust based off this. If you have the SMS feature turned on, you can click on the customer's initials in the lower left down here. And this is where you can send them a text message. You can also use the On the Way feature to let them know when you're on your way. So if you click on this button, you'll have the ability to send a link to your location, and you can show the exact arrival time. Both of these can be toggled on or off, and then you can go ahead and click on Paste. Once it's pasted, you're able to send by clicking this button. Now the customer will get a text message like this, and once they open, it'll let them know, this is Blake with Truganics. On my way, should be arriving by 11:19. To check my location, click the link. And then now the customer will be able to see where you are or where your technician is when they send that on the way message, and they can see an exact arrival time. So just another way to reduce the number of no-shows and increase your customer communication. Let's jump back to our job. Within your job, you're able to check in when you get there and check out when you leave, and you can show this on your paperwork. So we're going to check in when we get there. Below is all of the customer's contact information, along with their service address. If you click on the address here, it's going to open up the GPS on your device, which will navigate you to that location. You can also attach a photo for that location, which is really helpful if it's a brand new account, and that will help for your future visits. And then below, you can also see a location note here. If you have Stripe or Square activated, you can add a credit card on file just by clicking on the 3 dots and then choosing Add a Credit Card on File. Below that, we have our job notes and our top notes. Both of these notes are not visible to the client, and they can only be seen by your team. The main difference is that a top note is going to appear on the top of all of the customer's jobs, whereas a job note is only going to appear on this specific job. To add a job note, click on the 3 dots right here, and then add a new note. You can type your note here. You can add photos by clicking on the attachment, and you can notify other users by clicking there. Once a user is notified, they'll get a notification in their inbox at the top of their calendar. Let's actually go ahead and add a note together. Okay, we'll go ahead and save. Once we save, you can click on this little icon to have the job note reoccur for future events. Okay, so if we click here, this job note will appear on John's job in 2 months. Now the top note, which is this note here, This is usually a gate code or any specific instructions for that customer that will appear on any of their jobs. This note is also not visible to the client, it's only internal, and you can always edit the top note by clicking on the three dots to the right of top note, and then clicking on edit note. You can also delete the note here as well. From this point, I usually like to work from the bottom back up to the top. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to start with our weather. Whoops. So clicking on the three dots here will allow you to pull the current weather and show that on your paperwork if you'd like. If you have the Documents add-on enabled, you can click on the plus sign up here and you can add a document. This will let you choose from the document library, and we do have a video that will cover this a little bit more in depth, but just for the example, we'll grab the Pest Control Service Agreement and we'll save. Once the document's added to the job, you can click on the three dots to the right of the document and then click on Edit. And this is where you can fill your form out in the field, and all documents can be emailed for e-signature as well. Above that, we have our materials. Because we'd predefined this aerosol in our service template, that's why it automatically generated. You can edit that material by clicking on the three dots and then click on Edit Material. And this is where you can make any changes to the quantity, maybe the target, or I'm sorry, the areas treated, or the target pests. You can also add a new material by either clicking on the three dots here and choosing Add Material, or you can click on the plus sign up here and you can also add a material. When you're finished with the job, you can check out above. And if you would like to send your customer documentation of your check in and out, the materials you added, and any other notes, you can send a work order. And work orders are somewhat similar to an invoice, except there's no price associated with any of the items. Let's take a look. So to access the work order, we're going to click on the three dots right here. So this is where you can add notes which are visible to the client. It'll always tell you. You can take a work order signature, and you can send the work order by email. If we view the PDF, we can see exactly what the work order will look like when we send it to the customer. So you can see we have our service, when we got there, when we left, our weather, we have our materials added, and then over to the right, there's no price associated with this, so that would be the work order. You can also send an invoice and take a payment from the mobile app as well. So let's scroll down to our invoice. Every invoice will start out in draft status, meaning that the balance hasn't been added to the customer's account yet. If we click on the three dots here, we'll have a few options. So you can add notes which are visible to the client, you can take a signature, you can add a payment, you can send the receipt by email, you can send the invoice by email, and you can edit the invoice. So if you want to make any pricing changes, this is where you can click on Edit Invoice. Then, next to each of our line items, you can click on the three dots, and then you can edit the price. You can also add additional line items by clicking right here. And then choosing from your item list. You have the ability to send an invoice by email, and if you have Stripe or Square connected, that will give your customers the option to click on a link and pay online. You can also add a payment right in the field. by clicking on Add Payment. We're going to select our invoice, in which case it's already selected. It's going to be this one for $150. Then we'll choose our payment method. If you have a credit card stored on file, you'll see that credit card here, and you can use that as a payment method. This customer actually already has $350 credit on their account, which I could apply to this invoice. However, in this case, let's just say that the customer gave us a check. So we're going to choose our method here, and then continue. You can add a check number or a memo if you'd like. We'll go ahead and continue. And then we're just going to add payment using check. Once it's paid, you can click, and you can still add notes which are visible to the client. You can take a signature, and you can send them a receipt by email. Okay, and if we open the receipt, or if we view PDF, this is what your customer will see. It'll show now that the invoice is paid. It'll still show you materials, all of your other information, when you checked in, when you checked out, the weather, except now it's showing that there is no amount due. Finally, when the job's complete, the last thing you'll want to remember to do is to change the job status to complete up here. So we can click, and then we're going to change it to complete. This is extremely important because this is what will unlock the next recurring job, and it'll also mark the job as complete, letting your team know that the job has been finished. Okay, so we're going to click on Change Status, and then now that will turn blue. From there, we can go back to our calendar by clicking on the icon in the upper left, and we would just work our way down and see if we have any other jobs for that day. Clicking on this icon up here will also allow you to open up the map on the mobile app, and this will show you what jobs you have scheduled for that day. You can click on this icon here to open up your map filters, and one of my favorites is the traffic filter. So if you click here, you can see your jobs for that day in relation to each other, and then you can also see the traffic between each job. Clicking on this option here will allow you to see more than one day at a time on the map. So right now we're just looking at today. However, we can jump ahead a few days and see those jobs as well. To get back to the calendar, just click on this icon up here. The last thing I'd like to show you is pretty simple, just to show you the different views that you can take a look at the calendar. So if you click on this gear icon in the upper left, this is where you can see the day view, the week, or you can see up to the entire month on the calendar. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this provided an understanding of the overall workflow of the mobile app. If you have any questions, you can reach us at 855-536-7470 or open a live chat and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.